Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Here we are with another episode of Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101. Matt Ervin and Aaron Kennedy with you today. Aaron, it was supposed to slow down a little bit since the last time we were on, but
it slowed down.
Yeah, some things are
slowing down.
Some things are slowing down. Some things are speeding up, left and right, up and down. But tell us, I know we got several things to go through, but kind of tell us what's going on right now.
Man, interest rates. I know we've been saying this, but interest rates are getting crazy. We had the 30-year bond that finally touched 5%. It didn't stay there. It dropped back down to 4.85, something like that. But man, the long end of the curve is really moving up. Yep. And when we say long end, 10s, 20s, 30s, all of that, those interest rates are going up. The yield curve doesn't look inverted if you pull everything earlier than the twos out.
Yeah.
So this is a huge move. That the 2 to 10 was well over a 1% conversion, and now we're down to 0.3%.
Right. Well, and it's very interesting to think about that the only things that were touching 5 were like 12-month rates. Yes. And now we're out 30 years. We're finally getting so. But again, we go back to say, this is, I think, the third time we mentioned that usually it corrects itself on the curve before we even see the pain that it has caused. So,
yes, that's exactly right.
I just want to keep that on mind for people, that just because we're getting our curve back right doesn't mean that we don't have some rough waters ahead.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right. The economy's going to feel it, and then the market's going to react to that. The yield curve inverts, and they're like, wait a minute, the cost of money is too expensive going out. Right. Boom, we go down. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, so talk a little bit about oil. That's kind of an interesting case. I think you were telling me that inventories are down, price is down, which that goes against a lot of the laws of economics, doesn't it?
Oil just dropped down to 85. Big drop today.
Yeah, 4.76% down today as of this time.
Yeah, and gasoline inventories, those increased, but that looks more of a structural thing that they're trying to work through their winter blends. So nothing makes sense today on oil. Oil inventories did come down a little bit, but nothing to warrant this kind of drop. And I believe OPEC came out or Saudi and said they're going to be tightening again. So it's very strange. And maybe oil is trading on the economy.
Oh, surely, right? Because if we're going to have this and recessionary period, right? We don't know how big it's going to get, but they're even talking about, a lot of the airlines and such are having a lot of trouble right now determining, because fuel prices are, I think, 25% of their budget, and that's extremely variable. Right?
Yes. That's the big cost. And things are trickling through. The ADP job numbers came out today. They're half of what we wanted. What's going on there? Usually we inflate it by 200 to 300% and then correct it, 3 months later.
Well, that's the private, right? That's the private payrolls, right? So I think they're coming out tomorrow or something with the different jobs report, and then they kind of compare, but it's never apples to apples.
Now, something is strange. Unemployments the employment job numbers were coming in at half. New orders on the ISM, they dropped pretty significant, about 10%. And no, this is a short time frame, but still, it's got to start somewhere. Services finally starting to crack. We saw a little bit of a drop there. So I don't know if this is seasonality. We're getting right before Christmas time, so maybe everybody's pinching their pennies and everything else, getting ready for Amazon Prime Day. Who knows?
Right.
It's too short of a time frame, but things are weakening up in these numbers today.
Right. And the consumer credit is still through the roof. Savings is down. So something's going to start cracking. And, I think they're still talking about regionals being one of the most susceptible places, regional banks, right, being
Yes.
the most susceptible places. But I think the regulators are screaming to those banks, clean up your balance sheet. And we've seen so many changes, even locally. You see changes in your local branches about different policies and things that's coming down from the top, saying we've got to make changes in our policies to clean ourselves so we're not sensitive to a big kaboom,
That's right.
like we saw in March.
We need to plan ahead.
Yeah.
And hopefully nothing ever happens, but you don't want to be caught blindsided, or you don't want to be sitting around thinking that'll never happen to me.
That's right.
So, get your house in order, and just make sure you're ready for a rainy day.
That's right. That's right.
That's the big thing.
So, with that, one of the ways that we kind of judge the fear in the market is the VIX. We've talked about that a lot. And, we're looking at that just before the show. The VIX has dropped so much. When you look at even what it's done today, let alone the last 12 months, 12 months it's down almost 35%.
Right.
So our fear is 35% less than it was 12 months ago.
Yes. Yeah. The VIX, that is, it's a fear index. It shows how much volatility is in the market, or how much anticipated volatility is going to be in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when we go through bad times, it's going to spike to 30 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Average is around 18. And it's at 18.85 right now.
Right.
So nobody's kicking and screaming. And this is the difficult part. Most of the market is down. Yeah, you pull out the Magnificent Seven, we're basically flat for the year or negative. The further you get out defensively, the more negative you are. So again, this could be some kind of structural thing where nobody wants to get in the way of these big indexes, specifically the NASDAQ or the S&P, with all these big AI stocks or the Magnificent Seven in there, because you're going to get crushed, because they're going the other way. And it just, it's very difficult, because we were talking earlier in the year how breadth was expanding. More stocks started to participate in the upside. That disappeared.
Pretty early in the year.
Yeah,
really.
Now we're right back to it. NASDAQ, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's a strange market. And, that's kind of how these things happen. You have big drops, then big rips up, then big drops, then big rips up, and until we kind of find a footing. And right now, the market's following interest rates.
Right.
So first thing has to happen is interest rates have to calm down.
Yeah.
We got to find a firm footing that everybody believes is the long-term projection or outlook for our country or our economy, and then build from there.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I think it starts with one meeting at a time, right? And the November meeting's coming up, and they're a little bit conflicted. I've heard two ways. Some of the chairs are saying, "Hey, come out, and we need to do one more," and some of them are saying, "No, it's not about one more. It's about how long do we hold it." So I think when we get a little bit of direction, a little bit more direction, and a little bit more direction, we start to see those averages. It's no different than economic data. One quarter doesn't really mean anything. No different than one meeting doesn't mean anything. It's the consistency of the tone and the trend, but they're bound and determined to not save us. The Fed is, and I think we have to see that they're not going to save us. We get our nasty rip off the Band-Aid, whatever it's going to be, and then we go on about our day, because we've been so diligent through all this, even though our guts are twisting. But it was like the duck on water, right? Our feet are going crazy, but we're cool and calm on the top. Got to stay cool with the water.
Right. And what's the point of raising interest rates? You cannot curb government spending at this point. I think we just paid off another $9 billion in student loans.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Basically, the Fed's taking from us on the interest rate side, taking from us on the growth side, taking from the banks on the solvency side, from us on the tax side, and then paying off other people's obligations. At what point do we say you can't fight? It's not the Fed anymore. You can't fight the government. You can't stop this crazy spending.
Right.
Something has to happen. Something has to happen. We got to get our spending in order. That should fix interest rates. That should fix inflation. There's just so many moving parts at this point.
Right. So until that point, we're still getting pretty good returns on our interest rate vehicles?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, interest rates are on the low side. We're still getting 5.3 to 5.4 on a 1 month.
I like it.
And then you're getting up to 5.5, a little bit north of there on the 6 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts to trickle down a little bit from there. Interest, you're getting paid to wait, getting paid to save right now. So that's a good feeling compared to everything else.
Right. So what's the thoughts on your end? Are you trying to slice any cash in, with that Santa Claus rally, or are you really kind of waiting for a little bit more clarity before you make any moves?
Good question. A couple of things. That Santa Claus rally that's the hardest one out there. We do have cash on the sidelines, and I think we probably need to get it to work. The big belief is there's going to be very light spending
through the holidays.
Yeah. And I don't believe that. I think it's going to go the other way. People are going to take out more debt, and you only live once. COVID could happen again tomorrow. So, big Christmases. I think the spending continues on from the consumer, and that's going to give a good reason for the market to rally. It sure would be nice that if we did have a nice little spike in the VIX by the end of October, if that thing could hit 30 or so, I'd feel really good about dumping everything we got into the market ready to go. So
too many people are thinking the same way, and we always know that's just as dangerous.
Yes.
So we want to be patient with it. But it sounds like we're in a good spot and ready to take advantage of it. And Aaron, we're getting close to time here. Is there any last minute things you want to share with anybody before we break today?
No. All this market stuff, just remember it's short term. Even the bad times is 2 to 3 years, and it recovers. So, don't let this stuff keep you awake at night. That's my job.
That's right. That's all Aaron. That's all Aaron.
All of us here. I didn't mean like that.
No, I tease it.
It's all of our ulcers and not yours. We're going to do everything we can to take care of you. And try not to watch TV.
Shut the news off.
Yeah.
If you have questions, give us a call. We always want to visit with you and stay in touch. And two, there's a lot moving around even with the Schwab transfer. So we want to make sure that you're seeing what you want. We want all the transparency that we can provide. Answer any questions that you have. If there's anything you're in coming up, be sure to holler at us. We want to make sure we're getting on top of it and getting in front of it. So we appreciate each and every one of you. And I think that wraps up today's episode of Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton & Associates Incorporated.